Welcome back, everybody. We are going on to game number 2 here in the best of 3 between Sass Zaraki and Vanatir, aka Enjoy Me, aka the guy who has a million IDs on IC Cup. So many, in fact, that he has a whole team of just himself.
Yeah, that's either a big ego trip or just good organization. I can't quite decide which one.
Dude, it was actually quite amazing because, like, the only reason I know that is, like, I think one day I was streaming and people were, like, telling me to ladder or something. I'm like, oh, well, I don't have, like, C-level account or something, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be interesting. I'd just be playing D players. And Enjoy Me's like, oh, I've got, like, 6 C accounts. You can just have one. Use it. And I was like, wait, really? And I looked him up, and he actually has the Enjoy Me team with, like, 100 IDs in it. And he's like laddered on 20 of them, like, to decent levels.
That's insane.
It's crazy. And the funny thing, and the most hilarious, I think I might have told the story already, but the most hilarious thing was that, like when the IC Cup admins go through and look in all the teams and inviting them to participate in Clan League, he actually got an invitation for his clan to play in Clan League. And then he comments, he's like, wait, but it's only me. What am I supposed to do? Like a one-man team beasting up Clan League.
Oh dear.
That would have been cool if he did it, though.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's just peculiar. So Enjoy Me pretty good at killing D through C ranks, but
apparently, Ending Life is saying he has 4 B- accounts right now.
Really?
You gotta say, that is dedication. He does ladder a lot.
That's serious dedication. So he really puts in the practice hours. I'm surprised he hasn't played on Destination at least once or twice against Zerg.
It's true.
Very odd. But anyway, yeah. Hopefully, we're going to see that practice paying off in this next game against Zaraki. It's going to be hopefully better than the last one. I'm looking to be convinced by a Protoss hero here.
Well, we're going to be on Neo Aztec, and I don't think the wall is quite as difficult to make. Although it's not straightforward, but it's not quite as difficult. So at least in that regard, hopefully it doesn't make a backwards wall. And yeah, with that, shall we go on to game 2?
Yeah, let's move in.
Here we go. Alright, going into game number 2 at the 12 o'clock position as the green Protoss, we have Vanatir. At the bottom right, as the peach Zerg, we have Zaraki. And as our lovely orange observer, we have Mr. Falling.
So we do indeed. And this match should set itself up to be a little bit of a safer one than last time. There's no kind of weird shenanigans going on with the kind of wallings you need to do and all that jazz. It's fairly simple in the early game and should be fairly standard. But I often feel a little bit unsure about playing as Protoss in this map against Zerg. I feel it doesn't offer too many options beyond 2 bases unless you're kind of very smart about it, but it kind of really encourages 2-base play as far as I'm concerned.
I would definitely agree with you. I mean, I think we talked a little bit about it last series as well between Andre and True Touch, but yes, there's the mineral-only third, which is not the greatest. And then this inside gas base is obviously quite exposed, and in fact there's a lot of unbuildable ground out here as well, so you can't just mass cannon either. So yes, I think as you said, it definitely lends itself to more heavy 2-base play, but we shall see here what Vanatir decides to do.
I just feel like that's really good for Zaraki when the strategy is, really leans in one direction. I feel like the stronger player in Zaraki should be able to kind of take advantage of that a little bit better. Slightly strange forge placement there.
Oh man.
Is he doing another kind of cannon in front thing?
It's not wrong yet, but
but
yet is the key word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be okay. It could still be okay. You could put the gateway on top of the forge and like put a cannon on the side or something. It's all right. Maybe.
I'll reserve judgment. I think the cannon's going to go behind the. Okay, that's kind of not too bad.
Okay, so he's going to put the gateway on the left and wall himself in completely then.
Yes.
Okay.
No. It shouldn't be tight between the forge.
Actually, you know what? If he builds the gateway to the top left of the forge. It'll touch the forge and be tight there. I'm not sure if it'll be tight on the very left side, but to get out, he can actually just kill the pylon and then get out. So I think that's actually okay. So this actually looks good.
It should be fairly safe. Throwing down a pylon in the Zerg natural as well, just to, you know, annoy Zaraki a little bit. As much for economic gain as for mind games at this point, because it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's nice to kind of get a little bit of some kind of aggression or some kind of spanner in the works of your opponent early on.
Indeed.
Which kind of gives you a little bit of an early boost. But Zaraki able to get his natural expansion down without any kind of real calamity, and sending out another drone as well, looking like he's going to prepare to make a fairly early third here too.
I mean, that's the half the point of the probe, right? Half of it is to scout what your opponent's doing, but the other half is to be as obnoxious as possible and just try and really just annoy your opponent and hope he messes something up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's happened to me before. You know, sometimes this is a scouting probe that's just so annoying, I rage quit the game.
Really?
Like that's how effective it can be. It's like so annoying. It's like, oh, I can't take this anymore, and just leave.
I want to play a different game. We need to play Age of Empires. Bye, guys.
Seriously. Hey, man, the villagers in AoE were good, man. They were good.
Yeah,
they were badass.
This is interesting. That hatchery placement. This kind of tells me he's going to a quick fourth base.
Yep.
I see no other reason for that hatchery placement because there are other good bases he can take close to home. So yeah, he's going to be going for a quick fourth. And that's even nicer, I feel, on a 3-player map because it denies the other main, the only other main.
Yep.
So I kind of like it even more.
That is an excellent point, and we do see the probe now scouting the other potential good third that the Zerg could have taken, a little bit closer by ground, a little bit easier to defend, I think, but no, he's going to see, okay, nothing there, so now he's going to go check that left side natural, and he is going to see a base there, so he's also going to know exactly what his opponent's doing, and look, okay, so we can actually inspect the wall now, by the way. It doesn't look too bad. I don't know if this is tight between the gateway and the doodad. It could very well be, and if that's tight, this is actually a good wall.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I'm not convinced that it is tight, but I thought I saw a probe bugging out a little bit there. So maybe, I don't know. But I'm not even sure we're getting an opportunity to find out for quite some time because there's a zealot, there's 2 cannons, there's another zealot on the way. I think that it's going to be... Ooh, the scouting probe goes down. I think it's going to be fairly safe. I don't think Zaraki will even kind of try his luck to get through that. And we do have a Stargate coming in as well, so... Nothing mad happening from Enjoy Me, and nothing mad happening from Zaraki either. We have the lair just about to finish, and I strongly suspect that we're going to see a very, very standard trajectory into the mid game. We still have no natural gas either for our Zerg player, so nothing out of the ordinary there either.
Yeah, it looks like, whoa! Zergling's going to test the waters here at the front, going to lose a couple of them. And the rest are going to scamper home with their tails between their legs. The 2 zealots, I think, have been spotted, but obviously 4 Zerglings can't do too much against them. But of course that will allow Zaraki to make some emergency links, and you can see the Zealots immediately just going home, having forced a couple of extra links. I assume they forced some links. I'm actually going to look at these. Yeah, okay, so it looks like 4 more links were produced in the main base, and that's really all he needed to do. So these, actually 2 more links in the third as well. So these 6 links could have been drones, but by poking with those Zealots, he kind of forced them to be made. And now they're not very useful, because obviously you can see the wall is very good this time. So yeah, Enjoy Me so far, doing a pretty good job here. He's got a Citadel almost done, got a second gateway, looks like maybe a third gateway about to come up here. Zaraki might try and do something with these lings. Looks like they do have speed. He's going to try and go for a run by, actually, I think, because he doesn't want these to be wasted. And now we can actually see if this is in fact tight. Here we go. He's going to do it. He's got 1 ling, really wants to go.
I don't think so. I don't think he's in the mood.
Oh, he's just going to chill.
It looks like he's going to save his lings. And fair enough. I mean, I really have no idea if that's going to be link tight or not, and it might waste a little bit more than he'd want to in trying to get through. The first Corsair having a bit of a scout around now. He's going to see the Spire on its way up, might be able to grab itself an Overlord kill before its time is up, but probably not. It's probably going to have to head home fairly soon.
These Overlords are in slightly strange locations as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter too much. He's going to be Scourge out very, very soon. Spire's done already, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. He's going to lose 1 Overlord at most.
Yep, might not even lose that one if there's a Scourge on the way. No, I think you will lose that one.
They're over at the third base. It's the only Scourge you can morphing over at the third base. So yeah, 1 Overlord going to go down, but there's nothing that you wouldn't really expect. There is a DT on the way right now as well for Enjoy Me, which is kind of interesting. There is no Overlord in the natural expansion for Zaraki. As I say that, he moves back an Overlord from nearby, just to kind of take care of that threat, and looking fairly on the ball with it. And I wouldn't imagine that DT is going to do anything too radical. And he looks quite aware of the threat as well. He's got a couple of Scourge hovering over there. He's got a couple of Overlords. Second colony, he should be absolutely fine. And yeah, it's going to be fairly standard. Both these guys are kind of taking their time and really building up.
Man.
Plenty of Corsairs coming in for
I
enjoyment.
just realized, actually, Zaraki deliberately had Overlords from his natural and his third kind of hiding on the edge of the map, a little bit away from the natural. He had one at his third as well. I was wondering about that position. I'm pretty sure that was actually deliberately so he wouldn't lose an initial Overlord to the first Corsair. I mean, he did end up losing one anyway because he morphed another one that didn't hide itself. But that was actually, I'm pretty sure that was deliberate placement in slightly awkward positions to make sure he didn't lose them. So pretty good thinking there by Zaraki if that's what he was doing, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Smart move right there from Zaraki. Not quite doing its job, but nonetheless, you got to appreciate the thought behind the action. And Enjoy Me, he's going to have a little bit of a poke around with a couple of DTs. Always good to do, but he's not going to find any weakness as of yet. But of course, you never know. It's always worth sniffing around because Zer can easily make some kind of simple error, which just let that DT
here's the
slip
first
through.
simple error. Getting all the links.
Oh, that's always nice. That's just kind of a feel-good factor, isn't it?
Yep. Easy
Really
peasy.
good.
I mean, and those lings, if they were, just like 5 hexes down, they would have been in range of the Overlord. But they were not.
Yeah, that's probably what Zaraki thought, to be honest.
That is a lot of Corsairs making. He's not getting +1 though for some reason. I don't know. You don't have to get +1, but it's relatively cheap considering how much of a boost it gives you.
When you've got that many Corsairs as well, it just seems to make sense because it does make a big difference. And you're spending most of your money on Corsairs, 100 for an extra upgrade, really not so much. But he's going to be able to get out and take on Scourge head on, which is, of course, the critical tipping point where those Corsairs really become properly useful again. But they are getting split up, and that, of course, is where it gets a little bit risky because he runs the risk of taking some bad Scourge hits right there, but he does manage to recollect them in time. A couple of Hydras hanging around, they're going to make that impossible to really do anything too radical.
And looks like he's poking in here. Oh, he's keeping the DT in the back. He wants that DT to go
nice.
through here. And here we go. The Overlords are falling. He's going to target the DT. Zaraki really is targeting the DT. He is targeting DT. Right-clicking the DT with a Sunken. Very good target. Very nice move by Zaraki. I think that should have been held back a little bit more, but it looks like it might not even matter. There's still a lot of Zealots, but they're getting blocked by the drones. One more Sunken in the back. The Hydra's coming back to defend. Zaraki's going to lose a lot of his Overlords, but it looks like he is going to hold on to the base and take out the first ground force from the Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, that was I don't know. I don't really know about that attack from Enjoy Me. It kind of worked, and it was good of Zaraki to focus down that DT. He almost missed the chance there. He almost had a DT running wild in that base, and then he might have been in some much more serious trouble, but he did manage to just stay on top of that and didn't lose too much in the end. Wasn't great for Enjoy Me. Interestingly enough, though, Zaraki still hasn't got a 4th base happening. I would have expected a 4th base to be coming in by now.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I mean, I get he might have been. Oh, whoa! Suicide Corsairs here. Right.
Yeah, he was busy microing the battle over at his outside his natural, where he has managed to kill a fair number of Hydralisks. Didn't get any of High Templar last night either, so he's going to be able to make an Archon as well, and he's got 1 High Templar left over, which is no Storm, but good to have nonetheless. But he did throw away a few Corsairs for the privilege.
Yeah, and what you were saying about the 4th base, I think maybe he might have been thinking about taking a 4th when that attack came in. He's like, oh man, damn, I gotta make some units now, It's sort of like response to what his opponent was doing, and now that the Protoss is taking a 3rd base, I think Zaraki can go and safely take a 4th, and just as I say that, a drone does make its way down to that bottom left main location. And those 4 bases are going to be way more useful than these 3 bases of the Protoss, because this is one mineral only base, and Zaraki's got an extra main. So this is a little bit annoying as a Protoss player. I mean, sure, you can make a few extra Zealots and gateways, but Lurker's research is about to finish here. So if Zaraki just makes a few Lurkers, that extra Zealot bonus won't help you too much. But there is a pretty big supply difference, though. Look at that.
Yeah, big supply difference. I was about to say he's got pretty much. He did have more than double for a little while, but Zaraki's managed to catch up. He's finally started pumping some units again. But will it be too late? It depends on what Enjoy Me's kind of attack timing is, because, I mean, the defensive position isn't that strong for Zaraki yet. He does have 4 Lurkers morphing in his natural, so very soon that's going to be pretty safe, and it looks like there's going to be nothing of Enjoy Me taking advantage of that, and he's just going to stand back and defend. He's going to get his own 3rd up as well. Can't help but feel he's missed a bit of a trick there to put some pressure on Zaraki and to just kind of bother him and niggle him into making more troops than he'd otherwise want to. But apart from that, I guess the timing window wasn't really there, and he's just going to have to fall back and play conservative.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of going semi-Turtle Zerg mode until he gets up his Hive and does all the evil Hive tech things. I mean, look at this. Oh man, this defense of the 3rd is just super impossible to break.
How do you even break that without Reavers?
It is
a lot of Storm. I mean,
yeah. Even Storms are just not really going to be enough here. This is just a really impossibly good defense. This is why I advocate going fast Arbiters in PvZ. Yeah, recall.
They're actually surprisingly good. The natural is not too strong yet. As soon as those two colonies come up, then it's going to be strong. But at this point, it's not too unbreakable. But again, enjoy me. Not going to be over there anything like in time. So it's going to be fairly safe for Zaraki for the foreseeable future.
Now, a more realistic response, actually, besides Arbiters, even though Arbiters are awesome, but I think a better response to this kind of campy Zerg is to just expand really fast as Protoss. Because, in theory, if you are on even basis with the Zerg, you should be ahead, right? So, if you see him just going mass Sunken Lurker Square Defense, like you see so many times a lot of low-level Protoss players like, oh my god, how do I break this defense? It's so hard, what do I do? Well, a lot of the times the answer is just don't, just expand faster than him. Because if he wants to defend, then fine, let him defend, Why would you attack into his defense if he's specifically defending? And he's going to attack here, but look at all these Zealots and all these Lurkers. I mean, this is going to be really costly for him. He's got a lot of Storms, though. Can he break through? Actually, Zaraki might not have enough Lurkers here, but look at this, the Zealots just melting away. No Zealots remaining after there were so many, and now the Lings have free reign on the Dragoons. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, he did a lot of damage, but he just lost his entire army against that defense.
Yeah, I mean, it could be so deceptive, those defenses. It's so cost efficient. I mean, Zaraki used a minimum of units in order to do that, and he's just beaten back a giant Protest army. There is still kind of an army in there for Enjoyment, but it's not really got any legs anymore. There's one Lurker left going to get cleaned up, but Enjoyment's army is completely done, wasting a Storm on a dead Lurker, unfortunately. But Enjoyment would do well just to abandon this attack right now. A big force going into his third base as well. It looks like Enjoyment is definitely going to lose his third, and I can't help but feel that this is very, very bad for our Protest players. Zaraki is absolutely all over this, even though the third base is under some heavy fire. It's really not going to be in any trouble anymore. Only 4 Dragoons remaining of that attack force, and Enjoyment is going to have to pull back and try and do what little he can, but he may get broken right here. There is a major force in his third base, and Zaraki is looking pretty good to keep moving forward and to even take Enjoyment's natural.
I mean, he had such a huge supply lead, and he just threw it all away on those defenses. I don't understand that. And now, he's facing a giant counterattack. He's going to get Lurker contained. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the Zerg player has spent all of his resources on defense, so why would you, humor him and actually attack the defense?
Yeah.
I mean, you should just let him waste it and just go, expand, because he doesn't actually have the capacity to attack you very easily.
Yeah, he really doesn't. I mean, yeah, that's not suboptimal.
It is suboptimal.
Enjoy me.
That is highly suboptimal.
And unfortunately, he is paying the price. It looks like he's definitely going to be done here, which is going to mean that we will probably see. Yeah, that's probably going to mean that we see that would mean that we see a Zerg finals. He's kind of holding on for the time being, but I don't imagine it's going to last much longer. There are Lurkers camping in his natural.
Somehow, Vanatir still has a supply lead, like a 20 supply lead. I don't know how this is possible.
Huh? Yeah, I really don't know how that's possible.
Well, there's more things coming in. I guess he must have like way too many probes or something. I don't know. How many probes is he
wow, he really does.
He does have a lot of probes, doesn't he?
Seriously stacked up. It looks like he will just about sort of hold on for the time being. But Zaraki's just going to keep sending in links. He smells blood and he really wants to capitalize. And Vanatir just really got no way to do anything aggressive right now in this game. He's going to have to defend for a long time if he wants to get back into it.
Man, I'm just looking at this third base and like all the buildings are still there. He attacked, he killed like the leading hatchery and maybe like one sunken, and that was it. And everything else is still there after suiciding his entire army.
The problem is the leading hatchery feels kind of like a big coup, but it really doesn't make
it doesn't mean
whatsoever.
anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, and Ultra Cavern now on the way, consume almost ultraviolet. This is actually really interesting because Zaraki is actually sub 70 supply. He's already got like his hive tech well on the way.
Really?
So I mean, yeah, this is a pretty fast hive tech here. I don't know, can he really afford this? I mean, his economy, his saturation isn't amazing.
And he's got no gas at his fourth either.
Yeah, this is, I think this might be slightly premature. I mean, look at this. Vanatir has somehow come back and gotten a huge supply lead again.
He's got a big army, hasn't he? A really, really big army. I mean, it seems like Zaraki's supply is kind of yo-yoing as he needs it. So when he needs the army, it's there. And when he doesn't, it's, well,
and you know what? That is actually the optimal way to play Zerg.
Yeah.
In fact, is to only have the army exactly when you need it. Because, I mean, that's the main strength of Zerg, right? Is that because Larva can either become economy or army, you can just make huge rounds of whatever you need at the time.
But the third base, it's looking pretty weak at this point. There are only 2 lurkers in there to defend it, only 2 colonies, one of which is slightly damaged, not very damaged, and there is another colony on the way in though. But I think that this would be Vanatir's chance to actually go and put some pressure on it.
Yeah, but it looks like Vanatir now, having learned his lesson from that last attack, is like, I'm not going to try that again, even though, as you say, it might actually work better this time. But I think in the long term, it's probably better to play like this, especially because he's about to mine out. If he goes for a suicide attack again, he has nothing to fall back on. Unlike last time where, okay, he suicided his army once, but as you can see, he sort of rebuilt it. It won't happen again without an extra base or 2. So I think he should take his mineral only. He really should just go take this 3 o'clock as well. He's got such a huge army. He really can't afford to move out on the map and, you know, take map control. I don't think he realizes actually how big of an army advantage he has, although it's not going to last for long with Defilers now out, with the Ultra Cavern done. I mean, he really needs to go take this 3 o'clock base now and start cannoning up and building Reavers and stuff to defend it. Because once those Defilers start running around on the map, it's going to be even harder for him to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. He's getting down about a little bit now, and he has got a scary army, and he's on 137 supply, but as we see, Zaraki's supply has suddenly shot up to 105, and that's a really, really quick turnaround, and suddenly...
man. Upgrades.
Oh, wow. We have very...
2-2 upgrades for the Zerg against just 2-0 for the Protoss. That is horrible.
Yeah, it's really not looking good. I mean, it's really not looking good. Zaraki's army is just going to be vastly superior, at least in terms of, you know, cost effectiveness.
Yeah, I mean, basically Protoss is supposed to be ahead of Zerg in upgrades, right? At all points in the game until like the very end game. So for him to actually be behind, I mean, 2-2 Cracklings are just gonna eat him alive. I mean, his army is also primarily Zealots. His army composition is good. Look at this. Not a single Archon, not a single Reaver. Pure Zealot Goon with only 3 High Templars. That is not a late game composition at all. Oh man, and the Plagues are gonna be brutal here.
Yeah, really, really brutal. It's so fast. It's so amazing, rather, how quickly Dragoons melt when they've been plagued. It gets really, really horrible. And Zealots don't last too long either. He's going to be able to head off that Defiler. I think that Defiler was probably headed to swarm at the 3rd and take down those cannons easily in the next, of course, as well. But that's not going to be able to happen. And this is when it gets kind of really important to have a decent mobile army for Vanatir, so he can head off those little strike forces like that. Because otherwise, it's so easy to lose the whole game just to a few of those little attacks where you've suddenly got no nexus left and you're suddenly not mining at all.
Absolutely.
So he's got to make sure he's mobile, he's aware of what's happening on the map at all times. He's going to try and get a 4th base up now as well, and not a minute too late either, because he's completely mined out his natural and his main.
I mean,
and
we saw Zaraki do things like that, exactly as you were saying, with those small attacks earlier. Remember where he would like do a drop with Zerglings in the main on destination, and then at the same time go for just a small group of Zerglings and a Dark Swarm on a Nexus and snipe a Nexus somewhere else? I mean, Zaraki's shown that he's absolutely capable of things like that. So definitely have to be something to be aware of. And the really annoying thing as the Protoss is that, okay, you might say, well, if he's going to go for lots of small attacks, you might want to split your army. But if you split your army, the Zerg is just ridiculously cost efficient against you. So it's like, you can't even do that.
But I don't think this was a good idea. He took his whole army to clean up one remaining lurker when he had a DT on the ramp. There was no rush whatsoever, but he's taking his whole army over there, and it's now going to be completely out of position, as you were saying. And he's going to have a hard time defending against this strike force of Zerglings, Defiler, and two Ultralisks.
Yeah, this Nexus is going to fall. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah.
He really should move the army to do something, though. The army's just sitting there at the top left for no reason. Really needs to go. Yeah, he's just going to counterattack. Now, let's see. What is there here? Wow, that's a lot of Ultras. Don't know if that counterattack is going to do well, but he has to do something with the army now. He's got 160 supply. Oh, wait, no, that's Zaraki that has it. Oh, they both have 160 supply. No wonder I was confused. They both had, like, almost identical supply.
I think he needs to be careful with his micro right here, because he's going into real bottleneck, so he needs to lead with the Dragoons quite well. Those Zealots are just going to clutter things up quite badly. But he is doing an amazing amount of damage to those Ultras, and they're all going down very, very quickly, actually, right here, even with the +5 armor. And this could be quite sick.
Oh, Plague! Yeah! Monster Plague. I was going to say that Defiler should have used the Dark Storm to save the Ultras, but it didn't happen, and the Ultras fell with all those goons providing backup DPS. This attack is making a lot of headway, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. I mean, with more units coming out of the Nidus, although a nice storm there on the drones as well, it's not over yet, but with Dark Swarms and only the goons remaining and a couple of Archons, I don't think he can quite make any progress. He might be able to snipe the hatchery from out of range of the Lurker, maybe?
Possibly, but not for a little while yet until that Dark Swarm clears up and there's more units on the way in. I think This isn't really going to be the death blow that the vanatir actually really needed in this situation in order to come back from such a tough spot. He's fought quite credibly, but look at his position now. He's got one mining base. He's got no map control whatsoever, and he's against the Zerg, who has just got a fresh base up and running, even though it is just a mineral only nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, this is just a horrible position, man.
It's okay. He's got a DT. It's killing stuff, man.
That's all right.
He's good. He's fine. The DT.
Make it. Single DT holding the ramp. But look at those upgrades as well. It's no wonder his army was dying so quickly. He's got 0 defense upgrades.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really not good against a fully upgraded Zerg army.
You know, no upgrades, no tech units. He just had the anti-composition. The funny thing was, the initial engagement actually went quite well because he had all the Zelts buffering against the Ultras and then the Dragoons shooting them. Dragoons actually have pretty good DPS against Ultras if they're not under Dark Swarm.
They do.
But so that was actually went surprisingly well, but then it's like, eh. Oh, we got a DT sneaking in.
DT doing its thing. Marauding across the map. Very nice. He's going to be able to grab a few drones. Hopefully for Zaraki, he'll see that fairly soon. Because that's some quite serious damage to his economy, which isn't in incredible shape as it is. And that DT going to do a lot of serious damage. Oh,
no, don't chase the Hydras! Don't chase the Hydras! Don't chase the Hydras!
DT getting distracted, but it doesn't matter anyway. The last remaining mining base for vanatir is about to be breached. He's fighting under the cover of Dark Swarm, so that's going to make life a lot easier for him. There's some reinforcing zealots coming in, but that's really not going to be doing it. He doesn't even have an observer, and there are lurkers there as well. A lot of units getting bottlenecked behind a High Templar, and I fear this is going to be it for Enjoy Me. He is fighting to the last. He has fought valiantly, but it is not going to be enough. Ultra's just destroying what remains of his economy. And really, we have to say that Zaraki was head and shoulders above in this game.
Fighting to the bitter end. He's got 43 supply against 118. Here we go. He's got a DT and there's no Overlord. No, never mind. There's an Overlord.
There's an Overlord.
It's okay. He killed the Ultras. No, he didn't. GG! Zaraki takes down the second semifinal 2-0 and will go on to face True Touch in the finals. It is, of course, a ZVZ finals. Because it wouldn't be TLS if it wasn't a ZVZ finals.
Yeah, you know, we got a long way without seeing a ZVZ today. Very, very impressed.
We only had one ZVZ series in the whole day.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Unfortunately, it's the final.
It's all right. It's all right. We had 2 pretty good semifinals. You know, PVZ, TVZ. I'm happy with this. I'm okay.
Yep.
All right. So with that, we're going to a quick break, and we'll be back for the best of 3 finals here in the first qualifier. The winner between Zaraki and True Touch will qualify directly for TLS Season 3, and the loser will get something like 105, I want to say, qualification points. Some really high number towards their own qualification.
It's better than a kick in the teeth, isn't it?
It is better than a kick in the teeth. That is absolutely correct. So with that, we will be right back.